الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
Hi and welcome to Worlds Apart, a program that is dedicated to speaking the truth in love. I'm your host, Rommel Gussain, and today we have with us Daniel Shayesteh, who'll be discussing with us ideologies that are truly worlds apart. First of all, welcome to the show, Daniel.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a real honor to have you come and share some of your insights with us.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so much delighted to be here.
Thank you very much. Now, what I would like to do is discuss on this very first episode a little bit about your life. I think your story is wonderful. It is an amazing story. What God has done in your life, the transformation is really, for someone that has never come across what God can do, it would seem unreal. So I'd like to start off by asking you, can you please tell us a little bit about where you were born and your upbringing?
Well, I was born in a very beautiful city in the northern part of Iran, beside the Caspian Sea, a very green land, mountainous area and farming area. I was born in a Muslim family. My father was Sunni, my mother was Shiite, but because they were not practicing Muslim, so they got together and they got married. My father actually had 2 wives and 12 children. We were all living together. My father encouraged me from childhood to go to religious courses, memorizing Qur'an. I grew very rapidly in that, and I became a famous boy in my hometown at the age of 9 because I was able to do some religious works for people in religious ceremonies and recite the Qur'an for them. And people called me from that time. I went to their, different religious things, and especially because I was practicing Shiite religion, simply because my mother was more practicing than my father, and doing morning things in the mosque. So that made me famous. And from childhood also we learned that Christians and Jews are unclean people. I just want to tell you the commitment I had in that. So we learned these things, and we learned from the mosques and from the community that Islam must be taken to the end of the world, and each Muslim has an obligation to do that and to commit, to donate and whatever to do. So this much I learned from Islam, but really I didn't know the depths of radicalism until I entered university, and then in university I started to become a radical Muslim.
Yes, and so when you did grow up, this was something that you did believe?
Absolutely.
And you followed it to the best of your ability?
Absolutely. I mean, you don't know anything else, and you are not allowed to read any other religion or doctrine or philosophy. This is what you have learned from childhood, that Islam is the best and perfect religion, and it should perfectly dominate the world. You are in it, you do everything for it.
And it really shows, it really is, as what this episode is called and what this program is called, it was worlds apart. The difference between Christianity and Islam. And you were taught that at a very young age.
Absolutely. I had become an encouraging person really to many people, and families really used me, showed to their children as an example to them. And that interest was so strong from childhood that after I entered university, I established myself, in philosophy and in Islam. And then after Islamic Revolution, I started really to teach my followers to commit themselves fully to Islam and to live for Islam.
Wow. So you went to university, you studied there, and you committed to yourself to studying Islamic philosophy, is that correct?
My study was not about philosophy, but if you're involved really in religion, you go in it. And especially I was very much interested in classical Iranian poetry. If you're involved with classical Iranian poetry, you need to know about mystic philosophy and philosophies. So eventually I became so much interested in that. And also I entered university, the revolution really has started. And there were different groups, atheists, materialists, were religious people. They were always discussing with each other about philosophy and other things. I said, wow, I love this. I have to really establish myself very strong in that. So I went in it actually for a year. I didn't believe that there was a God. I was influenced by the teachings of atheists that if God is there, you have to see him, you have to touch him, And but what happened in that 1 year, I really, devotedly committed my time in reading philosophical books, both from materialism and religious side. And after a year, I discovered, there must be one God for the universe, a creator for the universe. Because I didn't know any other religion, so consequently, I went back to Islam. But this time, Islam was a radical Islam. In the university, there were students, they were radical, committed, They were encouraging other people to commit themselves to Ayatollah Khomeini, whose voice in that time was stronger. So I became a radical Muslim then.
And so, this word radical, we often hear it and we have this negative label about it. But I suppose in your day and in your age, what you meant by radicalism was passion. You were passionate about what you believed and you wanted to do it to the nth degree. So please tell us a little bit about what the revolution was about and your involvement specifically in the revolution that occurred in Iran.
Revolution, we were just so young really. We were not able to discover the very subtle manipulation of radical Muslims who were leading us in Iran. And they really spoke about freedom, economic prosperity, political freedom. If you follow Islam, you commit yourself to Islam, you'll be absolutely a free man, Shah of Iran, they were speaking about the king of Iran. He is dictator, he is not giving us freedom. Absolutely, if you follow Islam, Islam rules over Iran. Everybody should have freedom. They manipulated us. We didn't know the depths of Islam. You see, I knew the philosophy of Islam. Philosophically, I discovered that there must be a God for the universe. So, consequently, you believe in a religion.
Yes, that's right.
But because you don't know any other religion, you commit yourself to Islam. But that doesn't mean you know the social philosophy and political philosophy or moral philosophy of the religion deeply. We didn't know that. We were younger people. We just said, we have to follow these leaders, If we are Muslim, we have to follow them. And also their talks were so attractive. Yeah, you will have economic prosperity, political freedom. Students will benefit, people will benefit from the money of petrol, so we committed ourselves really to that. But the scenario changed after the revolution. When they came to power, not only you were not able to, use a little bit freedom, you were not at all allowed to criticize the system, even in a positive way.
So things didn't get better, but they actually got worse.
Absolutely, because they were not speaking the truth to us. We didn't know Islam is not compatible with freedom. We were just younger people, we believed our followers. This is the thing you see happening in Islamic countries. There are more than 50 Islamic countries in the world. Which one of them have the freedom really?
Yes,
None of them. You see, I mean, even a boy or girl, they love each other. They do not have even time to talk to each other, to know each other. You see, I'm just speaking this, giving you a
Simple, yes.
small example of that. You know, what about, you know, looking to the economic system and saying, no, this is not going to work here. You say this, you lose your life. I mean, one of my death sentence in Iran was, I just said to the leader that even our leader, in a nice way I said, if our leader does mistake, we need to remind him for the well-being of our country. I got death sentence.
Wow.
Oh, leader does mistake. You know, so that was the real nature of Islamic rule that didn't show itself before the revolution.
Okay, and so now you went to university, you became entrenched in Islam, you believed it, you followed it, you went through the Islamic revolution, so now you're on the other side. What happened next? Did you remain as a Muslim?
No, I didn't. What happened, after 3 months, we captured the country and Ayatollah Khomeini came to Iran. After 3 months, we realized that nobody is able to, you know, say to the leaders, look, that's not right. That's not what you promised us. And especially journalists criticized, and they were taken to prison, tortured, lifetime imprisonment, and death. That scared all of us. What's happening here? They promised us freedom, but we are now absolutely chained. Because we were the frontiers of revolution, we paid a lot of price, really. Ayatollah leader was outside. He was, you know, enjoying his life in France and in Iraq. And so he came here. Now we are absolutely in an authoritarian system. What's happening here? Because it was not that far from the beginning of revolution, we said we need to do something. So we really criticized this. You know, we said this is not good. And especially Iranian people, because their ancient culture is very pro-freedom. Mm-hmm. You know, Cyrus and Darius, they are mentioned in the Bible. They were, you know, they gave freedom to all people. Iranian still attached themselves very strongly, really, to their ancient culture and to their great kings. They wanted freedom. They called themselves Muslim, but they say, we want freedom. And we were blamed a lot because they said, you were here. And for that reason, we said, hi, but we start our own political party, hoping to gain the vote of people and government to bring back really that freedom. And we did actually. After a year, one of my colleagues became the president of the country with 98% of people's vote.
Wow.
And Ayatollah and other leaders lost with 2%. But this was a huge loss to them. And also Ayatollah blamed our party, and he said, according to Qur'an chapter 5, there shouldn't be in any Islamic country more than one party. Qur'an chapter 5 says only the party of Allah, Hezbollah, means in chapter 5, should triumph. So the other party is illegal. It's not legitimate according to Islam. Now what's the instruction for that? Ayatollah says the legitimate party, his party, even though lost with 2%, should destroy all other parties, and especially our party. They attacked and, you know, they terrorized government, and the president escaped. Government was demolished, and some of us escaped, some were killed. I was one of them, caught and put in a death cell, waiting in the death row. Wow. I was in the cell with 4 of my friends. All 4 were killed, and I was able to escape by the help of some of my friends. I escaped from Iran to Turkey. And so God spared my life, even though I didn't know the real God in that time, but he had a plan for me.
That's right.
So eventually I was able to escape from Iran to Turkey.
Yes. And so the Lord Jesus was singling you out.
Absolutely.
He had his eye on you that
Absolutely.
whole time.
Yeah.
And so during that whole time, you didn't blame Islam, did you? You basically saw that this was someone who came into control. He basically then wanted to do his own way, but it wasn't what Islam taught. So where was it that the Lord Jesus started to change your life or shape your circumstances so that you were challenged? with what the Bible said?
Before being taken to prison, I never thought that Islam was the problem. I was in the prison. I was waiting in the death row. You know, literally a dead man. Really, all energy has gone. All freshness has gone.
All hope.
Gone. You're
Gone,
dead.
yes.
You're a dead person, literally. But the only available book in the prison was the Quran. I had never read the Quran entirely in my mother language, because you're always encouraged, don't read the Quran in your mother language, only read in Arabic.
Arabic, yes.
You know, because if you read in your mother language, you do not like it, you criticize it, you know, Allah will curse you, or you're putting yourself in danger. Always that was in our mindset. But in the prison, I was tortured, I was in pain, and those persecutors were saying to you that this persecution, we have got permission from Prophet Muhammad and from other holy leaders, and it was unbelievable for me. And they said it's from the Quran. I said that cannot be from the Quran in my heart. But that was not an easy question. I started to read the Quran. I said I need to read it in my mother language and to see that. And I read the Quran in my mother language. I was shocked. For 2 weeks, really, I couldn't believe that was my Quran. I saw that every evil is created by Allah. He is the creator of every pain. He has created man in toil and trouble. He is the creator of sin. He has corrupted Satan. I was shocked. I said, how can a holy God, how can a just God create corruption, sin, create people with torture, in toil and trouble? He is the one, is the root of all problem. Gradually, I lost my dependency on Islam. It was not easy, but the life was after that for me in prison so painful. Before that, I was thinking that I was going to die as a martyr of Islam. But now, I'm questioning myself for whom I'm going to die. For a God who does not exist, for a God who is absolutely a God of paganism, that he cannot be the true God. So I lost my dependency on Islam there, really, not before that. In prison, I lost really Islam. And I escaped from Iran to Turkey. Still I'm carrying the culture of Islam without even realizing it, because I don't know any other culture, any other thing. And but no Islam. I lost my commitment to Islam in Turkey. I tried to live as a just normal person, normal Iranian. In the back of my mind, I was thinking, hi, but I go to the ancient Iranian religion, Zoroastrianism. So, you know, that's my ancient religion, my national religion. But the Lord came into my life in an amazing way. And in Turkey, in the second year, I was in the university. I was to enter the university in Turkey to qualify my study. Turkish is my mother language, so it was not difficult for me to manage the language there. And in the second year, I found a fellow Iranian man in Turkey. He had a business there. I became friend with him to, you know, spend my time with him, and he encouraged me to put my money with his, make the capital larger, to make more money. I did that. But after a month, unfortunately, he took all my money and he's escaped to Germany. I couldn't chase him legally because the company was under his name. I wanted to find a friendly way to approach him and to beg him to give my money back. It was a big money, around 30,000 Australian dollars. It's a big money in the Middle East. So I remember that one day he was going to a church. I said, hi, but if I go to that church and ask about him, and maybe they can give me an idea. For the first time in my life, I was going to a church. It was very scary. First of all, I was a leader. I knew that a Muslim shouldn't go to a church.
Yes.
And also, being a fugitive politicians from Iran, that's more scary. If you're found in the church, somebody reports to Iran, And that's a good excuse to destroy your family, your tribe, your clan, you know. That's what, you know, in Islam, a problem is not just your problem, it's your family problem, it's your, you know, tribal problem.
The whole thing, the whole line, yes.
I was afraid, but my money was a big money, encouraged me to go. I went to the church and everything started from there. You know, I came really face to face with amazing things. First of all, these people were so sad I lost the big money to a man whom they helped. They offered their help to me to find him in Germany for me.
Wow. So as soon as you went in, you asked some questions
Yeah.
in the church, and you could see that there was a difference.
There was a difference. Some differences shocked me. For example, they were playing music in the church. That was scary.
Why?
Music is illegal in Islam.
Oh, wow.
Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, said, Allah sent me to destroy all instruments. You see, no committed Muslim listens to music. Music is haram, illegal. And also, these people were so excited and happy. You do not become a happy person in a mosque. You're an angry person. You know, you're full of hatred there. You know, if you're excited in a mosque, somebody asks you what is wrong with you. You know, and especially these people were standing and some ladies were singing there. Oh my goodness! Ladies raised their voices in a worship place? That was so strange to me, really. And I was scared. I couldn't stand with them. I sat behind everybody closer to the main door. I said something strange happened so I can run out easily. But anyway, nothing happened. And after the fellowship, they came, welcomed me, and I said the story to them. They became so sad. They so friendly to me. We can find this man in Germany. We have many friends there. You just keep in touch with us. We get any news, we'll be able to share that with you. So that caused me to keep in touch with them.
Yes. And so now, if you can please take us to the point where you were challenged, where you started to discover that what you've been taught wasn't right, and in fact, this God of the Bible is the true God. Please take us to that point.
It was amazing, really. In first 2 weeks, I said to myself, don't listen to them, because I was afraid. I am here for my money. But these people were so nice people. I started to listen to them. Their messages were amazing, really. I said to you, I loved my philosophy, and being a classical Iranian poet involved with poetry, I always loved really that, you know, that philosophy that Iranian poets have, you know, practicing righteousness in this world. It was good for me, you know, I loved it, even though I was not a Muslim, but that, you know, kind of...
Appealed to you.
Yeah, appealed to me.
Yes.
It says to you, search for God in this world, even though it's not Islamic. People were calling themselves Muslim, but it's not Islamic. However, none of them could say that you can be with God in this world. You can unite with God in this world. It was amazing that I was hearing from these Christians, they were saying that God is with us. Emmanuel, God is everywhere. God is personal. Now, in all other religions, including Islam, God is impersonal. He doesn't reveal himself because he doesn't have any personality. Muhammad said, God does not reveal himself to you. Any person who says that Muhammad met God or saw God, he is a liar. So God is not the revealing God. But these Christians are saying that God has revealed himself to us. Their philosophy was so powerful that they said, if God is not personal, if God is not revealing, then how he created Adam and Eve?
Yes.
He needs to reveal himself. He needs to touch the dust. He needs to shape the dust. He needs to breathe in dust and give life to dust, and they become living creature, and they became living creature, and they saw their God. That was amazing. And also my conscience was crying to me and saying to me, that's right. That's so powerful. It really touched my heart. And also I had a dream. That dream was amazing. That dream and their messages caused me to read the gospel, to be interested in reading the gospel. They gave me a New Testament and I started to read that. It was amazing. Really was amazing.
How was it amazing? What did you discover when you read it?
New Testament is the most powerful philosophical book in the world. 30 years after giving my heart to Jesus, I went into the depths of all religions and philosophies. It has yummy philosophy, a delicious philosophy, really. It's the philosophy for your whole soul and life, and a living philosophy. You see, all of them were amazing. You see, in Matthew chapter 12 says, God reveals himself. God is speaking about his son, Jesus. My spirit is on him. In other words, I am in him. I am him. To do what? To take justice to victory. In other words, to overcome Satan in the life of people. Now that's an exciting thing, because all Muslims are crying every day that to be pure of their sins, to be put in the right path, but they are not taken there. But the gospel is said to be, God revealed himself to crush the Satan in your life and to release you, to free you. In other words, to be saved. In other words, to be united with your Creator. To be united with your Creator, that's what all Muslims are crying for, that, and they cannot have it. But gospel is giving God to you to be united with God, to have personal relationship with him. That was one amazing thing. The second amazing thing is John chapter 1. Amazing chapter, amazing philosophy. John chapter 1 says, Jesus is Word. Now in philosophy, you never attribute the word to a man, only to God. For example, in every religion, you ask their scholars, what is God? In Islam, in Greek philosophy, in Hinduism, in Buddhism, what is God? They say to you, the Word. Now what kind of word? That's different. In Islam and in all other religion, unknowable word. Inaccessible word, non-revealing word, non-functional word. But I found a different definition in the gospel. The word became flesh. Why? Because he is personal, he is revealing, he is functional, he has image, he needs to put his image into practice. So yummy. Now why did he reveal himself? Because he wants to show his glory to people, his truth to people. People see the truth and they turn back and look at themselves and compare themselves with God. They say, I want that truth.
Wow.
I want that glory.
That's amazing.
So that was so powerful to me, really.
And I'm sure that there are so many other things. And I thank you. Thank you so much for being able to share those few points with us.
That's a pleasure for me.
Now, I just want to encourage our viewers to get the full extended version of Daniel Shayesteh's life, what God has done in his life. It's on this DVD. This DVD is called My Journey to the Truth. Please, you can buy it, you can get it. We'll put the website up on screen and you'll be able to order it for yourself. Until then, I pray and hope that you found this episode to be informative. Please check these things out for yourself. And I'm sure that if you're not a Christian, you've got searching questions of who the true God is. Until then, please stay in tune for the very next episode, and may the Lord bless you. Goodbye.